So can we stand up? And we're going to go ahead and let's get a little excited. You know, we want to keep a lot of noise. And let's welcome Charles Blair, the mad scientist.
I need more.
Some more. Come on down, Blair. Come on down.
Keep it going. I'm a glutton for it. Oh, my God. Thank you. I'm not worthy, my baby. All right.
Like the Price is Right. Come on down. So here you go.
I got one.
Okay, I got to go.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate this. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to blow your minds today. I mean, we're talking about 100% all content, a complete brain dump on how to buy, how to market, how to find wholesale deals and do your first deal in 30 days or less. No, I want to help you guys. I want to be responsible for helping you be successful. I said this year, I'm going to help 1,000 investors become successful investors. And this meetup is my conduit for doing it. So, the key to your business is understanding that there's going to be a lot of trials and a lot of tribulations. Do not listen to those gurus. You know the ones I'm talking about, the ones that tell you you can push a button and next thing you know you got deals coming in your mailbox. The one that tells you take 10 minutes, 15 minutes to study something and now you can close 15, 20 deals. That's not reality. This is a business and you have to treat it as such. And I'm going to give you that blueprint for wholesaling real estate. Now, the purpose of this meeting today is to give you that blueprint. Let's make that a little clearer. That you can implement not in 5 days, not in 20 days, not in 30 days, but in day one. And that's what we're going to talk about. It's going to be a little bit frustrating. Some of you are going to knock your head up against the computers. Some of you are going to say, there's no way in the world I can do this. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You just need a roadmap. You just need a blueprint. And after today, you will have that. Now, who is this bald-headed guy in the front of the room trying to tell you guys about real estate investing? How many of you guys heard my story before? Raise your hand. You're going to have to hear it again. So you're going to have to hear it again. Because there's quite a few who haven't heard it. And I just think it's pretty fun. I grew up in the projects of East Baltimore, Douglas Projects. And to say it was tough would be an understatement. I searched all over the internet, and the only picture I could find that mentioned Douglas Projects had police tape and policemen in the actual background. and that was on Sunday. So that neighborhood was tough. I remember playing basketball in Douglas Projects when I was about 12, 13 years old. And me and my best friends actually had to run for our lives because people were shooting and the guy fell right behind us, actually got shot and died right there on the spot. That's how tough Douglas Projects was. If you can make it in Douglas Projects, you can make it anywhere. Now, the good part of that about that environment is that it teaches you to be tough. It teaches you to withstand any type of adversity. I mean, anything that comes your way, you brush it off your shoulder. no problems is too big for you to handle. There's always a solution. A problem is nothing more than a missing solution. And you can always find that solution with the right information. That's one of the things I've learned growing up in the projects. Now, back then, I was that guy who thought he knew everything. In the projects, barely going to school. As a matter of fact, I graduated out of the 9th grade. And what I mean by that, I actually got kicked out of the 9th grade. To this day, I have a 9th grade education. And when you only have a 9th grade education, you can only do but so many things. And for me, I had to depend on my family. I had an uncle who actually was a manager of security at Johns Hopkins Hospital. So he got me a job, 16, 17 years old. I know some of you guys are doing the math. 9th grade, 16, 17 years old. Yeah, I failed a couple times, I tell you. But he got me a job working as a security at Johns Hopkins Hospital, Broadway Services. And I worked there for a couple of years. The midnight shift. And the midnight shift was hard. But I toughed it out for 2 years. Until one night, I could see it like it was yesterday. I was on the bridge at Wilmer Eye Clinic, and the director of the hospital walked in, and I was slumped over asleep. I didn't know he walked in. I found out the next morning he walked in. Because my supervisor told me, you know what, Charles? As long as you was asleep, you had a job. But the minute I woke up, I was fired. That was my trench down at Johns Hopkins Hospital. Got fired from that one. So, lack of education, 9th grade dropout, I went out and got another security guard job. This time, I was at Lexington Market, the world famous Lexington Market. The way it was now then is the way it is now. It was never that much world famous. Trust me when I say that. Midnight shift again. Went to sleep. Same result. I got fired. I'm not one to give up easily. So, I got another job. This one was at Baltimore Gas and Electric Company. Night shift. Again. Working in a trailer. When tractor trailers come by, I was that guy that's supposed to sign them in. 15 tractor trailers later, my supervisor woke me up. And I got fired again. But I'm smart. I knew I had to make a change. So at that point in time, I decided to tough it up and be one of those guys that go in West Baltimore and try to sell Kirby vacuum cleaners. And if you could sell a $1,400 vacuum cleaner, you can sell anything. And I didn't sell not one damn one. But you know what? It gave me thick skin. It taught me my first lesson in life. It taught me that if you can be comfortable being uncomfortable, you can do anything. If you can be comfortable being uncomfortable, you can do anything. Now, that job, I didn't get fired. That job kept me up late at night. And I didn't make any money because I couldn't sell any vacuum cleaners. But what I did was get home at night, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and when I got home, Cultish Sheets was on television. And Cultish Sheets talked about how you could buy real estate with no money, check, no credit, check, and no knowledge, check. I hit the trifecta. Now, how many times have you guys bought a course and that course was just sit there? Raise your hand. For me, I bought it 3 times. And the third time, I actually opened it up. And when I opened it, my eyes just, man, it was so enriched. The knowledge, the information, it was just like where the traditional education system couldn't reach me, Cultish Sheets reached me. He pulled me down and told me that this was possible. The only thing that Carlton didn't tell me was I had to spend more money to get more stuff. And I didn't have money. So at that point in time, all I could do was try to find a mentor to work with. And I worked with a mentor for 8 months. My salary working with that mentor was $50 a week in lunch. That was it. I was living at home. So $50 a week in lunch was all right with me. Mom said, no problem. This is something you want to do. I'll support you. And I worked with him for 1 year. 8 months actually. And after 8 months, I went on my own to become a full-time investor. My first year in real estate, I made $3,500. And you couldn't tell me anything. God, I had arrived. Because in this business, you won't believe it works until you make that first check. You're going to see everybody else making paychecks. Everybody else cashing checks. And it's just going to be that goal that's not there yet that you can't reach. And until you make that first check, this business is going to look like a distance to you. And I was proud because once I made that first check, it really took off in my mind that this business works. Real estate investing works. After 1 year being in the business, I got 8 deals and bought my dream car. That was it right there. Mitsubishi 3000 GT. You couldn't tell me anything. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm glad my wife ain't in the room. My God. I was laying back in the Mitsubishi 3000 GT. Man, 8 real estate deals, had a little bit of money in my pocket. Living large. 5 years in the business. I became the largest minority owner of apartment buildings in downtown Baltimore. Mount Vernon Properties. Total of 275 units, 37 different buildings, purchase price $5.2 million. After 5 years of being in the business. So I don't want anybody in this room to think that you have to be this. You have to have a college education. You have to have a PhD. You have to have a master's degree. 9th grade educator. Largest minority owner of apartment buildings in downtown Baltimore with my partner, Mount Vernon Properties. No. You have to have that drive, have that desire. And you have to look at this business, and my man Sharif, I know he can relate to this, like it's a hustle. That's the key. Now, let's fast forward to today. Currently, I'm investing in Tampa, Baltimore, Washington, Houston, Ohio, and St. Pete. My main markets is Maryland, D.C. Those are the markets where we do wholesale and rehabbing, buying and holding, and so on. The outside markets, we do a lot of wholesaling. We do a lot of rent-to-owns, and we also do tenant placement in the outside markets. My business surrounds around wholesaling, rehabbing, tenant placement, guaranteed rent, website design, search engine optimization, consulting, speaking, and meetup groups. I have over 300, that's probably about 50 now, house hunters. Those are individuals that send me deals on a regular basis. 64 of them are mainly active, where I get at least 2 to 3 deals a month from them. 1 project manager, 4 website developers in India, 1 graphic designer. I got a classified ad poster who do all of my posting on Craigslist multiple times a day all over the country in the different cities that we invest in. Also have 2 software developers. I've created certain softwares to help my business run. I have 2 real estate agents, 1 CPA, a real estate attorney, 3 primary title companies, general contractors, and numerous handymen. My VAs work in the Philippines, India, United States, Canada, Germany. We joint venture with other wholesalers in Baltimore, Washington, Houston, Ohio, Tampa, and St. Pete. And these are some of the clients as far as consulting clients, website clients. I got a lot of people that pick my brain and hire me to help them create marketing campaigns for their companies and so on. For example, Dan Merrill, I helped create his prayer program for him. Century Auction Group, Marcel Humphrey, Mark Witten, Director of Housing for Maryland, Ray Skinner, Brittany Calloway, Bill Fell. All these individuals have either been mentored by me, hired me, or have worked for me, or have worked with me to help grow their business. And that's just a small percentage. I've got 3 books published right now. Majority of them is on marketing and internet marketing, hence the name, The Mad Scientist. And to kick it off, I'm not done yet. I'm still hungry. You have to stay hungry, because there will always be someone that will outwork you. But not that many people can outsmart me. That's the key. Now, I want everybody to stand up. Take your phones out. This business is all about owning up to yourself, owning up to who you are. I want you to take your phone up as if you're taking a selfie. And in fact, prepare your phone to take a selfie of yourself. Hence the word selfie. Take a selfie of yourself right now. Hold them up. Take a selfie of it. I want every phone up there. Now, on that selfie, type the words hashtag, which is the pound key, action plus offers equal profit. Say it out loud. Action plus offers equal profit. I want unison. Come on now. Action plus offers equal profit. One more time. Action plus offers equal profit. One more thing. I will take action today. I want everyone to affirm that. Say it out loud. I will take action today. One more time. I will take action today. All right, take your seats. Now, I got a bonus for you guys. If you stay to the end of this presentation, I'm going to blow your mind. I'm going to give you what you would not believe. Just stay till the end of the presentation. If you really want to get this business, stay to the end of this presentation, because what I'm going to give you for free will take your business to the next level. I promise you that. Let's get started. Okay, there's various investing strategies, a number of investment strategies. You can be a bird dogger, or what's called a house hunter, which is someone that basically find properties or find opportunities and tell the wholesaler, tell the investor about those opportunities. That's what's called a bird dogger or a house hunter. You can be a wholesaler. A wholesaler is a person who puts the property under contract and then flips that property to someone else. Or should I say flip that interest in the property to somewhere else by way of their contract. You can be a rehab to flip person. Fix the property up, rehab it, flip it for large lump sums of income. You can be a buy and hold landlord investor. Someone that is building generational wealth, passive income, by way of rental income each and every month, cash flow, and equity. You can also do tenant placement. Tenant placement is another form of wholesaling. Instead of wholesaling properties, you're wholesaling tenants. In other words, you're finding a tenant for a landlord, and you're getting a fee for finding that tenant. I forgot to mention one thing. I need questions. I thrive off of questions. So if you have any questions during any time during this presentation, raise your hand. I love when people ask me questions. Rent to own. Rent to own investing is basically taking over a property, renting it out, and using what's called a rent to own strategy or lease to buy strategy in order to execute your profit. Master leasing. Master leasing is another form of rent to own, except in this strategy, you'll take over an existing property, such as a rental that will rent for $900 a month, and then you master lease it by way of doing a sublease of that property, and then when you do that, you will rent the property out, perhaps as boarding rooms or Airbnb, and create cash flow over top of that $900. So you're giving the landlord $900, and you're finding the highest and best use for the property, renting it out, and you're going to rent it out as a boarding house for $2,200, Airbnb $3,300 a month, and so on. That's master leasing. And last but not least, arbitrage. Arbitraging is where you are doing nothing more than looking for all these experts in these different strategies. So your job is basically to find the people who are doing wholesaling, rehabbing, buy and hold, tenant placement, rent to own, and so on, and market for the sellers, market for the opportunities to sell your leads to these people. You don't have to do any of it. You can just market leads to these different real estate strategies and make profits off of marketing the leads. That's what we call arbitraging, where knowledge isn't really needed at all, just the ability to market. Any questions so far? You're making this too easy for a brother. Question is, will I provide the slides after this? Should I? Yes. I need attention. I need loudness. Should I? Yes. Your wish is my command. Yes. The question is, when you're bird dogging or house hunting, how do you make sure you get paid? Well, you use paperwork to do that, a joint venture agreement and so on. That will ensure that you get paid, your contract and your paperwork. Never do anything without a contract. Never do anything without a contract. What did I say? That's how you ensure to get paid. Now, true story. Even though if you have a contract, person could back out of the deal. The deal I showed you guys with the apartment buildings, it took me 1 year to close that deal with me and my partner. And the reason why it took 1 year to close that deal, because the owner of the apartment buildings wanted to back out. He said, well, I see you got this deal from this person over here. I don't like that person over there. I don't want to pay you I don't want to go through with this contract. So we sued him. That's right. We actually sued the seller to go through with the deal. It took us 1 year and over $80,000, but we won the case and purchased the properties. The time we purchased the properties, we was at $3.5 million. We went up to $5.7 million. When I sold my interest in the property, we sold them for over $11 million. But lesson learned was this. Most instances, if any of your buyers want to back out of the deal, let them back out. if we're talking about wholesaling. That was a large commercial investing deal. I was working with another investor who was the seller. I was an investor who was the buyer. When you're at a courthouse, when you're sitting in front of a judge, when you're dealing with investor to investor, you're on equal ground. So I didn't have anything to worry about. But when you're dealing with investor to homeowner, Lord, you don't want that situation. Because that homeowner will win out 90% of the time because you is perceived to be the expert. So if you're trying to sue a homeowner, let alone a 60, 70-year-old lady, that judge is going to kick your asset out of court. So that was the lesson I learned. When I'm dealing with homeowners, if the person wants to back out, threaten like you're going to sue, but don't go through with it. And that's what I advise for you. Now, what is wholesaling real estate? Wholesaling real estate is nothing more than putting a property under contract and selling your interest of that property to an end buyer. The end buyer could be a real estate buy and hold person. It could be a rehabber. It could be any other strategies above that we talked about. But all you're doing is putting it under contract. Let's talk about the myths and the facts of wholesaling. Myth number one, wholesaling is illegal. It is not illegal. I'm going to say this again. Wholesaling is not illegal. Statute says, as long as a party has equitable interest in a property, you as that person with equitable interest can sell that interest for a profit. What is equitable interest? Equitable interest is the contract that you put on that property to buy. That's what's considered equitable interest. So when you put a property under contract, you have equitable interest. And now you can sell that contract for a profit. Don't let anybody try to tell you that wholesaling is illegal, because it's not. Any questions regarding that? Excellent. Most of the time, you know who's telling you it's illegal? Realtors. Any real estate agents in the room? Not to say that you guys are saying it, because I'm not saying you guys are saying it. Yes, they are. But a lot of times that's come down from realtors. Not necessarily with any bad intentions. It's just that some of them just don't know. Because it's just not part of their main curriculum. So I don't blame realtors. Now, another myth about wholesaling. That is easy. Wholesaling isn't easy. Think about it. As a wholesaler, you own a business. Is owning a business easy? So why would so many people be fooled from the gurus to believe that wholesaling is easy? Now, here's the reason why. True. Wholesaling is easy strategy compared to some of the other strategies. That's true. The learning curve needed with wholesaling isn't as great as other strategies. But there's nothing easy about wholesaling. As a matter of fact, myth number 3. If you're a wholesaler, you don't have to worry about anything, because you no longer have a job. You're a boss. You can walk around like a boss. No. If you're wholesaling and you're successful at it, you are a business owner that will always have the job of wholesaling wrapped around their neck. Because wholesaling is a job. I kid you not. Because the minute you stop wholesaling, you don't make any money. What happens when you don't go to work? Isn't it the same thing as a job? It's the exact same thing, the exact same issues you have as an employee. So get out of that thought that this is so much like being your own boss. Keep this in mind. As a wholesaler, it's the beginning of a path. It's not the end of it. And what I mean by that, if you're wholesaling, that's all you do, you will always be wholesaling for 15, 20, 30 years. Because if you stop, unless you done pocket and save like hell, you won't have any money. So keep that in mind. Treat it like a business and know that it's only the beginning of your real estate education. When I work with my mastermind students, I want them to be transaction engineers. I want you to make money from wholesaling, make money from rehabbing, make money from buying and holding, make money from owner-structured finance, make money from apartment buildings, make money from commercial, make money from tenant placement, so that you're not dependent on one channel of profit. You want multiple channels of profit. So look at wholesaling as the beginning of your education cycle, not the end. And use it as a springboard to do other things.